Hi everybody, Laura here. So glad you're joining me. Today I'm excited to be a part of the Friends Release blog hop with Simon Says Stamp, along with several very talented designers. I have a couple of projects to share with you using some of the new products from the Friends Release. So let's dive right in. I'm going to die cut starting with this gorgeous mum flower frame die. So I have a panel of Neenah Solar White cut to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I did put a metal shim underneath because these are quite intricate and I want to make sure I get a clean cut. Let me tell you, using the metal shim cuts it like butter. Okay, I'm going to do one more. This time I am using the COSMO flower frame. So same as before, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, using the metal shim. I will say that using the metal shim does work like a charm for getting a clean cut. It does, however, give a little resistance when you're trying to crank the big shot. Sometimes you got to really work it, but that's how you stay in shape with card making. I'm telling you. So now moving on to the card base, I'm going to do some ink blending on the background. I have a card base here cut to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm starting on the outer edge, working my way to what would be the center of the flower image. So start with cracked pistachio, distress oxide, and then I'll fade into a darker peacock feathers, distress oxide. I'm trying to get a gradient blend. These are going to be like cool tone. This one's cool tone, and the other card's going to be warm tone or hottie toddy tone. So right in the center, I pulled out a blueprint sketch, that dark rich blue. So blueprint sketch, peacock feathers, cracked pistachio. And then now just for fun, I thought I'd flick on some flicks of blues. So I smushed the peacock feathers onto an acrylic block, and then with a wet brush, just water, I'm flicking on off the edge of the acrylic block. But I didn't feel like the flicks were dark enough. So I tried it again using blueprint sketch. Now this time, instead of flicking it off the edge of the acrylic block, I'm tapping it on my finger. And I think it gives you two different looks. They're both great. You just kind of got to experiment and see which one you like. So now I pop that up with foam tape. Now we're moving on to the second card. Instead of starting on the outer edge, this time I'm going to start right in the center with the darkest color, which is Candied Apple. Now, having done both of these two different ways. For the blue card, I started on the outer edge and worked into the center. For this one, I'm starting in the center and working my way out. And if I had to do it a third time, I would do it this way. So if you're going to try this, start in the center with the darkest color. I think it works easier and smoother. And something about, getting into that circular motion, you kind of get into a zone and it gives you a nice smooth result. Now we're going to move on to the flicking stage. So I smushed some spice marmalade, flicking that by tapping it on my finger. So here's what I think about the flickage. When you tap on your finger, I feel like it gives you a thicker looking flick. And then when you flick off the edge of the acrylic block, I feel like it gives you teeny tiny little flicks. So you kind of, it depends on what kind of flickage you're wanting. You know what I'm saying? So popping this up, and now we're going to move on to the sentiment. These cards are going to be thank you cards. So I'm going to emboss a very simple thank you in white on a strip of black cardstock. The stamp set I'm using is called Many Thanks. It's not part of the Friends release, but she's an oldie, but she's a goodie. Let me tell you, I've used this stamp set so many times. I love this clean and simple font on that. I'm going to pop this up. I'm sliding a little sliver of foam tape behind the floral frame die, and then I've got some foam tape on the strip. That way it's nice and sturdy and it's not droopy or saggy on the card. It's very sturdy and on there. So when I mail it, everything's going to be nice and intact. And then to finish it off, a few sparkling clear sequins. I've got the few different sizes, scattering them here and there. Some are behind the flower and some are on top. And these cards are finished, really colorful, simple, happy, and I'm going to use them. That's what I'm trying to do in the new year, really use the cards that I make. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your blog hop. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.